Welcome, champions. This is the RPA champion, and today we are on a live stream and we are going to be covering Power Automate. Now, I'm putting a lot of focus on Power Automate, but it is important to do so. And in today's video is going to be an introduction to Power Automate. You will learn what it is, how to set it up, how to install, how to set it up, what are its different features, how to use it, how to create a couple of flows, and by the end of this video you should feel comfortable and you should know about Power Automate. All right, but before getting started, I want you to grab a cup of tea, sit in your chair, and pay attention to what I will say right now. So for over a decade, Microsoft Excel, or the well, not Microsoft Excel, but the Microsoft suite of tools such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, so the Microsoft Office tools have been dominating in the market. Meaning for almost since I've been working, and that has been almost a decade, I have been using Microsoft Office tools for different things. Power BI and Power Automate have existed for quite some years. However, right now there is a very high demand in skills, in people with this kind of skills and in this skill set. So these are the new features or the new technologies that are going to be required in the new workspace or in the new workplace. So I really encourage you to get as much information as possible and upskill yourself as much as possible on these technologies, because they are very important. They are the future. They are how businesses are evolving. So without further ado, without talking anymore about this, let's get into Power Automate and understand what it is. So Power Automate, as I was telling you just now, is part of a suite. It's called the Microsoft Power Platform Suite. So just like the Office suite, there is a Power Platform suite, and it is composed of 4 applications. So you have Power BI. Power BI is a set of tools that will allow you to get insight in your data. Your data might be structured, might be unstructured, but Power BI will allow you to get insight into your data. So it will allow you to connect different data sources, pull data from different sources, structured and unstructured data from emails, from databases, from SQL queries, and so on. And it will allow you to import it in a tool that you would install locally on your Windows machine. And after that, it will allow you to process your data. It will allow you to work your data, prepare it in flows, and send it to an online version of Power BI, which is a version that allows you to visualize your data. So you could visualize it on different on your app, on your mobile, or on a web page, or share it with somebody, so that you give insight to your colleagues about data. Now then you have Power Apps. Power Apps is just a platform that allows you to create applications. So right now there is a big need for maybe doing custom things, or doing different processes in a custom way. Imagine if you could just build really quickly, without coding experience, an app for something that you might need in a business process. That would be great. Then you also have the Power Platform, Power Automate, or the Power Automate. This is what we're going to be using today, and this is used to automate repetitive and manual tasks. In addition, we're going to talk much more about it, but for now, this is what Power Automate is. Now, there is also Power Virtual Agents. Power Virtual Agents, on the other hand, will allow you to create dynamic chatbots, or just chatbots that interact with all of your different Office tools and other tools as well. So imagine you could create a amazing report in Power BI that is pulling data from different data sources. This data is put into a report that is also inside the Power App, and all of the data, or maybe some notifications, could be triggered by Power Automate, and you could ask information regarding that data to a chatbot. This is not really the best use case. A better use case would be where you would build a custom application with Power App, and that application would trigger different processes in Power Automate. Power BI wouldn't really trigger that many Power Automate processes. All right, so let's get started with Microsoft Power Automate. I will get a glass of water and we will continue. Just 1 second. All right, we are back. We can continue. So, Power Automate. Power Automate is a tool that is not for free. You can use it with a license. There is a free version available that is that lasts for 90 days, but it is a tool with a license. So let's check out the licensing first for Power Automate. So the pricing for Power Automate is it has different ways that it's priced, meaning that it can be priced per user or it can be priced per flow, and we will understand in just a second what that is. So kind of even before getting into Power Automate, all right, we understood that it's a great technology, the skills and requirements for this are on the rise. Does it make sense for me to purchase it, to use it, and to study it and to learn it? So the most basic license is $15 per month, and this license includes one user, and this user can create unlimited flows on the online tool. Now, Power Automate comes with different components. Now we have the cloud component, which is this component. Then we have a component that is installed in on our computer that helps us record processes. And then there is another tool that is the soft motive tool that is used as an advanced RPA tool that helps us record or interact with any action, any application on our desktop, and record everything that we might need in a process. All right, and that is $40. So if you want the RPA tool and you want AI Builder, we'll get into that. And you want the RPA on the desktop and in the cloud, you'll pay $40 a month. Alternatively, you would pay $500 for 5 flows per month, and you could pay by flows. So every flow that you create and publish, you would create it. So not by user that is using the flow, but by flow. All right. So now that we know about the pricing, we know what Power Automate is part of. Now, what is Power Automate in a little bit more detail? Power Automate is a collection of tools that help you connect data between applications. Now, why this sounds boring and kind of like, why would I want to study that? Well, connecting data between applications can really speed up a lot of different things. So it sounds boring, but every automation is just basically connecting dots or connecting data between one application and another. So Power Automate does this in a really simple and a really great way. So why do I say it in a really simple way? It provides you with 270 different connectors, and connectors are these things that you see right here. So these are connectors. Connectors, they are connectors between different applications. So you see here, Dropbox, Twitter, OneDrive. So we can connect to Twitter, pull some tweets, save them in OneDrive, and send an email. So this is basically what Power Automate does. It connects different services online, and it allows us to automate different processes. So another example could be, let's say we have an Excel sheet with 100 different emails, names, and messages. We can automate sending an email to every single one with some custom attachment that is being pulled for OneDrive based on a preference inside of an Excel sheet. And so on, the list continues. Really, we really have countless examples of different automations that we can make. But the nice part is that these automations do not require no coding experience. Well, if you really want to go into the advanced, yes, there is ability to create, to add your own code, but you can also start kind of from templates. So yes, there is coding that you can get started with, but I'll show you a couple of processes right now that I've created that requires zero coding, and I'll also show you some processes with some coding so that you understand kind of what the coding is used for. So in certain situations, I might want to save different steps and not do it visually. So in that case, I might decide to just use some code, and instead of having different steps, I will just kind of jump into the jump all those steps with a few lines of code. All right, so Power Automate is that. It has these connectors that allow you to connect data between different applications. So it allows us to automate different things in our office, in our work, in our also free time. Now it's great. We can do also some great things like sending an email every time there is a new post about love to a friend of ours, or something, whatever we kind of really, whatever automation we think about, we could realize it either with Power Automate in the cloud or with the set of different tools. If we're using the set of different tools, we can basically realize any kind of automation. That is a little bit more advanced. For today, I will focus just about the cloud tool. Now, let me close all of these other tabs that we don't need. And now, so yes, so it has these 270 connectors that are applications that can talk to each other that we are going to build. Then it has something else that is going to speed up our development and the process of kind of building your automations. It has a very long and infinite collections of templates. Templates that already do different things. So these templates are grouped by category. So for example, if we wanted an approval workflow, we could click on approval and we can see the different templates that people have created already. So start an approval process and send an email on Microsoft Form submission. So we could just, with a click, we could implement this template and start using this template already. So let's check out another one. So for example, email, send email attachments from Outlook to Dropbox and so on. So these are templates. Now connectors is what I was telling you previously. There is approximately 270 different connectors, and these represent the different applications that you might want to connect between. Salesforce, Excel, SharePoint, Teams, GitHub, Google Drive, and so on. But wait, what happens if your application is not here? Well, you just create your own connector. And I have a video about how to create a connector. We create a connector that is connecting to Spotify, and we retrieve a library. We can play songs. We can basically do anything with our automation. So it is. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So these are the different connectors. Now moving on, data. So the data basically allows you to store your data in this so-called Dataverse. Dataverse is this environment that allows you, as just stated, to create your own tables and store your own data. But it's not only that, it has also some pre-built tables from which you can already start. So for example, if you wanted to insert some customer information or some information about a company or something similar, you would already have a table that is pre-configured and that will already allow you for some a lot of functionality. Now monitor, this is just to allow you to monitor your different flows and see the executions. Now this is maybe one of the things that I don't really like about Power Automate. Well, yeah, I don't really like it because it's not that efficient. So in another video, I will be creating a Power BI dashboard for all of the Power Automate flows that we have. So instead of kind of checking out our activity and monitoring from either the home or the action items for the approvals of the workflow, monitoring what is going on, we are going to have a dashboard where we are going to be able to see everything that is going on with our flows. How many times they were run, how many times they executed, how many times they failed, and so on. So if you want to see this this video with Power BI and Power Automate, let me know and I will create it. All right, so AI Builder. So before kind of jumping into the creating our own connector, it is worth really going over AI Builder. I spend a lot of time on AI Builder, and this is a great way to fast track your processes. What do I mean by fast track your processes? I mean that instead of integrating complex tools such as, for example, maybe Adobe or, well, I don't want to mention any competitors, erase what I just said, maybe some more complex tools or different technologies that might be also a little bit more expensive. Power Automate comes with this pre-configured, first of all, it comes with these pre-configured models down here that you can implement inside of your processes in just one click. I have made a video about each single one of these. We can check them out really quickly right now, but just as an idea, this really speed up your development for AI. Now, Power Automate is great for manual and repetitive things, but what happens when you need to automate something where you might require some intelligence or some reasoning or some visual or speaking even, or prediction, or whatever kind of AI skill, well, AI senses skill you might require, you could use the AI builder to enhance your Power Automate flows. All right, so before moving on, just notice that here you have some pre-built models that you can use right out of the box. So just by clicking on it, we can try it out directly. We can put in some text, and in this case, let's try this. So this is key phrase extraction. So this is extracting key elements inside of the phrase. So it's extracting the hours. So if we have a lot of different text, we could use this to extract key phrases. So if we wanted to use it in an app, we could use it in an app. Let's check out another one that could be interesting. Category classification. This is pretty cool. So if you have a lot of, for example, in this case, they have what they have here. They have customer feedback. So in this case, they're having a lot of customer feedbacks. So let's say that we want to analyze this customer feedback. So this model has categorized the text, how it is used inside of this sentence, and it has decided that it is a compliment. So it has categorized it in a compliment. So let's imagine we have hundreds of different emails and we wanted to categorize our emails. We could use this model right out of the box and integrate it inside of Outlook and pull emails out of Outlook, categorize them into different categories, and then decide what we want to do with this category, and then decide what we want to do with this other category. We could reply a message to one and reply a message to the other. So that is an example of this. And just one more, they have sentiment analysis. Yes, they do. Sentiment analysis, again, another example of how it could be used. Let's get an example of a sentiment. So this is neutral, actually. This is negative. Issues with checkout machine caused by delay. Again, you could pull in all of the tickets from service desk and analyze the sentiment on all of these tickets and get the general sentiment. Well, the general sentiment of the tickets is going to be pretty negative, but maybe you could use it on your client reviews on your web page or something similar. So just 1 second, let me see. All right, so it's going to be pretty negative, but maybe you could use it on your client reviews on your web page or something similar. Just 1 second, I am checking out. Okay. All right, so much for the AI builder. Just to finish off with AI builder allows us to also create our own custom models. So let's say we don't like what it has been built here, or maybe it's not really suiting our use cases and our purposes. We have the ability to fine-tune our excuse me, I am trying to set up something on the live stream. All right, so yeah, so you could fine-tune and train your models. So for example, here you have an invoice processing model. This is trained on invoices. So for example, it's trained on this kind of invoices. So probably it might work in your case, but might not work in the best case. Or maybe you don't have an invoice, maybe you have a sheet from a doctor, or you have an insurance form, or you have a tax return, or you have something of that sort. So you would want to train your own model and not use the invoice model. So in that case, you would go here, for example, for processing, and you would just train your own model. You would create your own model. We could do this in today's training as well, or create a prediction model. If there is any preferences, I am checking out the chat, so if there is anybody that would like to prefer, we could also create an object detection. That could be pretty fun, meaning object detection, we could train our model on different pictures, so we could have like, I don't know, photos of different things, and just teach it to identify different pictures, and based on what it identifies, we could have it send an email. All right, so that is for the build, and here in the models you will just see your different models that I have built and that I have trained. Process, well, there's actually, wait, there's one more thing actually that we have to see here. So document automation flow. So now document automation flow, this is something brand new from Power Automate, and it is still under development, but it is a really cool feature. So why do I say it's a really cool feature? Because it allows you to create a full-on process with just a few clicks. So what do you mean a full-on process? Well, a full-on process is usually composed of different parts. Like, for example, an initial part that is used to maybe retrieve data dynamically, another part that is of the process that is used to extract the data, another part that's used to validate, to export it, you want to monitor. So a process is much more than just kind of pulling data from one place and importing it. You need to make sure that it's correct, you might need to pull in a human in the loop, and so on. So Power Automate is really speeding things up. And this is also really the future of automation, meaning robots that are already pre-configured and flows that are already pre-configured, and that you just implement them on a click. It sounded kind of like science fiction, because, oh well, every process in every company is different, everybody is doing things in a different way, so how can you implement a process with just a click? Well, it does work. With a little bit of fine-tuning, it does work. If you are on, if you have those connected, well, if your data can be extracted via APIs, or you can connect to it, or you could retrieve it in some way, you can automate that process. And if you can automate it, you can have it, you can create it as a kind of as a click application. So all right, so here they have already I have already built this process. They have one of these click processes, and this is for documents. So with just a click, you install all kinds of different components. You install an entire solution, and this entire solution is your document processing solution. So it is really cool. If anybody wants, we can have a video dedicated to it. I have used it extensively, and it is well, extensively in the little time that it has been available. But it is it's great. I was really surprised how much time it removed from development by just creating all of the tables, all of the checks, all of the flows. Everything was already created for us to use. All we had to do was just a little bit of configuration. So also we have Process Advisor. So this is a haven't really used this much. So let's see what Process Advisor is. This, I believe, advises you on the processes that you have recorded on your desktop. If it decides to load, well, it is not really important. While this is loading, we'll give it a few more seconds. I just wanted to mention a couple of things about the learn. So learn is where you'll find all of the important information about Power Automate. So use this if you want to really learn about Power Automate. It's a great source, and I've done a lot of learning from here directly. Now this is taking its time, so we will just jump into creating our own flow. Now this is what we've been waiting for all of this time. Now we got a good feeling about this platform, and we have a good feeling about the platform, and we can create our own flow. We know what it is for, we know about the different components of it, we know how we can use it, we've seen plenty of examples. So right now we can create our first flow. Now there is a couple of different flows, but before just creating our flow, just notice this, that you can, if you want, install also Power Automate for your desktop, and that will allow you to record processes on your desktop. All right, we will not be doing this right now. We'll focus on the cloud version of this. So there's different flows that you can create. So you can create an automated cloud flow. The automated cloud flow is going to allow your flow to be triggered automatically, meaning when there is an event that happens, like you receive an email or somebody does something, that's when your flow can happen. Like for example, somebody posts something on Twitter and that triggers your flow. An instant cloud flow, this is a flow that you would come right here and you would trigger it. Alternatively, you could trigger it via a webhook, via a button, or something similar to that. There is also schedule flows. This is just a schedule flow, meaning a flow that will run at a specific time on a repetitive basis if you want it. So let's say tomorrow at 2 o'clock every 2 minutes. Then you have desktop flows, and we have seen those, and you have business process flow. Now business process flows are something a little bit different in themselves. So let's say we wanted to collect some information from a customer, and we were using an Excel sheet previously, or maybe we're using emails or something similar to that. So this would allow us to create a web form, submit that to the client, have us approve it, insert it into the data here in the Dataverse, and just kind of digitalize the whole experience. If we wanted to, we could connect the Power Automate to it and have it do some automatic things as well. So that is an overview of the different things that we can create. Now let's create our first flow and see how basically Power Automate just works. So let's create a basic flow, and we are going to call this flow, we'll call it the spammer bot. Why the spammer bot? Because I feel like spamming somebody right now. So what are we going to do? Let me think. Let's say that every time that there is a post about Trump, we are going to collect that information and send somebody an email. That should be pretty interesting. All right, so let's do that. So this is a manual trigger. So this is basically means that when I start this process, I'll have to click on something to have it run. So I can also add different things to this. What do I mean? I can add a button, I can add an input field, I can add the ability to add images. I don't need any of that right now. So what do I need? I need to search for Twitter and see if there is some posts about Trump. So to do that, let's search for the Twitter connector. So simple as this. So we selected another box. Box 1, box 2, the second box is the Twitter connector. The Twitter connector gives us some actions. So we can post a tweet, retweet, get followers, search for tweets. So let's search for tweets. So what kind of tweets? All right, so we have to authenticate with Power Automate inside of Twitter. Now I thought that this was done already. Now once this is done, we have connected Power Automate with Twitter. Now just an observation, this is really great. This usually would take quite a bit of time to do otherwise. All right, so what do we want to search for? We want to search for Trump. Any other options? So maximum results, we want to search for 20 results, and we don't want to search for from any particular users. So let's just search for 20 results from Trump. What do we want to do with these 20 results? Should we put them in a table? Should we send them in an email? How about we put them in a table? I think that would be good, and then we can take that table and we can put the table in an email and send that email to somebody. Or alternatively, we could individually send the message from every tweet via separate email to a person. Meaning we could send them like 20 emails, or a few more emails about every single post about Trump that there is. Let's start with let's start with a few less just to test this out. All right, so all right, so I think I will go for the option of sending 5 emails rather than putting them inside a table and then just sending one email, for obvious reason, I think. But if somebody would like to see how we add them into a table, oh, if somebody would like to see how we add them in a table, please let me know. All right. Very good. Now, the next thing that we have to do is we need to send an email. So let's go to Gmail and let's send an email. Perfect. So again, we need to authenticate with we need to authenticate with a with Gmail. And again, this is quite a straightforward process, very easy process to do. So let's recap what we have here. So we have a process that on trigger is going to search for 5 tweets about Trump. It is going to get these tweets. It is going to create an email for each one of these tweets, and it's going to send that email to a target person. I will not say lucky person or victim or whatever. I'm not a fan or a disliker. I'm completely unbiased and uninformed to make any kinds of political decisions or opinions. Now this has finally authenticated. Now let's send a email. So who are we going to send it to? I will be sending this to myself. So I will send an email, and this email we will add the subject. Inside of the subject we will put just this tweet, and inside of the body we will put the tweeted text. Excellent. Now notice one thing, Power Automate in all of its glory and magnificence has created a loop that is, what is a loop? Something that is going to send 5 emails. So instead of us coding for this, meaning creating a for loop statement and doing all of that kind of automating, like thinking even about doing it, it has done it automatically. It has also kind of created the body on which it's going to do, and all we have to do is just put the tweeted text inside of the email. Now this is super easy, super basic. There is no code, and what we have done is relatively complex, meaning that we are automatically searching for the first 5 tweets on about Trump on Twitter. We are extracting those tweets via robots, via magic and voodoo. We are creating 5 emails, again via voodoo magic, and then we are shipping these 5 emails to our destination. In this case, it's the same person, but I could make all of this dynamic, and I can spice this up as however I want. But before making this any more complicated or any more different, let's just save this, test it, and see if we get any emails and if we get any tweets. Now let's see, are we getting some sort of error? Now let's save again and see why is this not working. The flow was saved but could not be enabled. So what is not compatible here? Can I just test it? Let's see if we just test it. What is going to happen? So this flow is currently turned off. So here we'll have to do a little bit of debugging. So spammerbot. Let's go back to, so again, now if we go back to our flows, from our flows we can see all the different flows that we have created. Now if we go into our spammer bot, we are going to see the front page. Now we see that we are connected to process lens and we are connected to this. Now let's see why this is not working. So let's take it one step at a time. Let's erase this, let's save this, and let's test the first part of our process. So let's test this manually and let's see if we are going to get any results about Trump. Haha, so maybe we have found let's enable our flow. All right, we have enabled our flow. So let's try testing it and see if it's going to finally get those tweets about Trump. So our flow has run successfully. This is the page that is the output page. So we have, once we run our process, is telling us, all right, the first part of the process runs successfully, the second part of the process also runs successfully. So we know that, all right, we have gotten a tweet from this ID at this time, and let's see what is the text. Voting to acquit Donald Trump makes you a fascist. We could also run some sentiment analysis on this as well. It could be pretty interesting to see what is the sentiment right now that is trending. Let's do one thing at a time. So let's edit this process. Let's go back and add a new step. Now we wanted to send an email, so let's go back to sending a Gmail. Let's add an email and let's send an email. Now before doing anything else, I'm going to save this and see if this is fine as it is. So if I were to test this, all right, so here we have actually a little bit of a problem of compatibility. Why is that? So this Gmail connector, for some reason, it is not compatible. So let's say I create it, I delete it, and let's say, do we have a different Gmail connector? So we could use Outlook, or we could just run some sentiment analysis, because this would take a little bit of time actually to research why this trigger is, for some reason, either is not configured well. So for example, if we are getting this kind of error, we could this is what I mean by code. We could dive into the code and try debugging it. Let's try one more time and see what happens. So let's just put the tweeted text here and let's save this, and fingers crossed this is not working. Let's throw this into the garbage and let's try with Outlook, or let's just run some sentiment analysis on this. So to run sentiment analysis, we would use AI Builder. I'm actually now pretty interested why the Gmail connector is not functioning, because I have used it a gazillion times. I will do that in my own time. But now, just to show you a little bit more about Power Automate, let's do some sentiment analysis. So let's see, sentiment analysis. Here we go. So the language of is going to be English, and the text that we are going to analyze, the text is going to be the tweeted text. Now let's see if this is going to work. Now if this also is not working, I think there is something wrong with the Twitter connector, because it might be might have not been updated. Well, this seems to be working. Let's test this and see what happens. All right, yes, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. All right, currently the flow is turned off, so let's go back and let's turn our flow. Let's turn our flow on. I believe that I have turned it on. Turn on. There we go. This is a new installation of Power Automate, and it's acting a little bit funny. My flow is disabled. All right. All right. Turn on. All right. And now let's test it manually. So it is running. There is something weird that is going on. We don't have any errors, and our flow seems to be turned on. So let's see it again. All right, so let's go to our home page. Let's go to our flows, and we could maybe run our flow from right here. All right, finally, have we managed to activate our flow? No, we haven't. Well, I will not bore you anymore with these debugging activities, but this will be also the end of the video. Now I will get into this and I will debug it myself. I hope that you understand at least a little bit about Power Automate, and that you get curious about it, and that you discover it by yourself, trying different things. Now, just before quitting, I really wanna run this for you guys. So let's turn this status off, and let's turn this on. All right. Thank you so much for staying with me. Check out another couple of more videos. I guarantee you there is no mess ups like this, like on a live stream like today. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in another video. Have a great day. Bye bye. Ciao.